I literally had just entered a trade and I hear like, Mama, and I'm like, no. And then I just remember thinking, oh man, if this is going to be a long career for me, this can't be it. If you look at your stop loss and you're like, ooh, you should immediately close out half your size. Trading a demo or paper account is useless. I think prop firms are the best way to go in the learning stage. Across my 4 accounts, I was up $8,000 and I got distracted and it just pinned up against me. It wiped me out of the position and then I tilted.
You saw the deposit come in and you realized all the efforts have now paid off.
I was like, I've made it.
If you have an automated strategy and you want to link that to all the prop firm accounts at the same time, you can do that on our platform as well. So semi-automated.
That's crazy.
Rebecca, such a pleasure meeting you. I was really excited to get you on the show here and really kind of walk through your journey as a trader. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about your background. And, ultimately, I know one of the things that was really kind of touching to hear is that you've really done all of this while being a stay-at-home mom. So could you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, how you started in trading and what this has been like so far?
Yeah, well, thanks, Mike, for having me on. I am a stay-at-home mom. I have 2 little kids. I do have to say one of my kids is in part-time care, but I have the other at home all the time with me. What got me into trading is, funny enough, I moved from Canada to Italy because I met my husband. And at the time, I was moved to Italy and gave up my career for love. And it's just a really hard economy over there. It's a hard market, especially for someone like I couldn't speak Italian. So I did the classic, like, what can I do from home to make money? And Forex popped up because this was like 7 years ago now. And I definitely got scammed at first. I learned the hard way. Yeah, thankfully it wasn't too bad. It was like from this company. I can't even remember what they're called, but I don't even think they're around like in North America anymore. Yeah, exactly. And then I met Austin. He popped up just on Google. We chatted and I was like, you don't seem scammy. You seem like a real person. And so I just learned Forex 7 years ago. Took a long break to have little kiddies. And now I'm back as of a year ago, switched into futures.
Got it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us who Austin is? I don't know if I'm familiar in the
Yeah,
Forex space.
he has ASFX, so he has this coaching community, I guess you can say. And so for someone like me, who I didn't know anybody, I didn't know anything about the market, it was really what I needed, like for a beginner kind of mindset. It was really informative. And it's funny how like things have shifted from 7 years ago and how I like blindly was like, okay, let's like give this a go. But it taught me kind of my whole foundations, which is really nice.
Sure.
Yeah.
I found it interesting that you made this big switch from Forex to futures. And I've been seeing a lot of Forex traders making that leap. And it just seems like the world of futures is very accessible from a lot of different perspectives, but also available as a futures contract. Did you start trading Forex futures as sort of the first instrument, or what did you first dive into when you got into futures?
That's a good question. I will say that I think I'm a bit of a follower. Like I feel more confident in my own kind of like strategy, my own kind of way forward. But at the time I was like, I don't know, like I had the like lifetime access to his like Discord group. And I just saw like one by one, everyone was moving over to futures. Like I said, I took a really long break. And actually when I came back, I was doing Forex, like, the like GBP USD, right? Like things like that and failing challenges. And then, like I said, one by one, people were kind of switching over to futures. And I believe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm up in Canada, but like the Forex space became really difficult, if not impossible for like Forex firms for US residents. Like it
it's
became
definitely
really difficult.
Yeah, it's definitely less used for sure. But and I know it's more popular in Canada from what I'm aware of, right?
Yes, I think it's easier.
Yeah.
Like with legality issues, I guess. It's an easier thing
Gotcha.
to do. But anyways, I just like was like one by one. I'm like, there's got to be something to this. Like these people who have been trading for years and years with way more experience than me wouldn't just like move over for no reason. So
Mhm.
I looked it up, and I'm not super knowledgeable about like spreads and fills and things
Mm.
like that. Like I don't place limit orders. I don't do things like that right now in my trading. So that wasn't the reason why I switched over, though I've heard they're a lot better in futures. It was more so that it's a regulated, I don't know why. Why? Thumbs up. There you go. This is,
It's regulated.
I
Thumbs
was
up.
giving
All right.
you, yeah, it's regulated. Thumbs up. Yeah. And I just found the challenges way more appealing. And I just was like my strategy worked well with it, and I was
Sure.
just successful in it. So I didn't look back.
Okay.
I actually
Makes
still have
perfect sense.
Forex like challenges and for like accounts that are still active. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to go back to those.
Not going to it. Okay.
No,
So
no.
was prop firm trading really where you got your start? And is that still all you've traded, or have you traded live markets as well?
Yeah, no live markets.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's because, so that's not necessarily true. When I did Forex, I had my like $200 accounts that I would
Okay.
try
Gotcha.
and,
Yeah.
like trade, which there was no point, to be honest. But I'm a prop firm gal, and the goal is to open up my own personal account. I actually
Okay.
just made an account yesterday with a personal brokerage, but I want to have, I'd say like 5 grand that I can just put in there and trade. And if I have user errors or things like that, then it's not the end of the world.
Right. Is that, sorry,
Mhm.
was that futures or Forex that you opened up?
Futures.
Futures. And are you going to
Yeah,
just stick with futures from here on out?
yeah. I might dabble in options.
Okay.
I might, but for now, I'm just doing futures. Yeah.
So what are you mostly trading in futures?
I trade MES. So,
MES,
yeah, and that's just
the micro
because
S&P.
micro S&P. Um, it's just way less stressful.
Mm-hmm. A lot less
And if I'm,
volatility, a lot
yeah,
smaller size. Do you tend to like what kind of contract size do you tend to trade?
it depends, but I would say I'm anywhere from 5 micros to 8 micros.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're
Depends on
almost
my
in a
account
full
size.
NQ with 8.
I know, I am. A lot of people are like, "Why don't you just trade, like, minis?"
Yeah.
Because for, like, commissions wise, it's better off in the long run, but again, like, if I'm making, for example, $1,000 on the day, 50 to $70 of commissions, it's whatever.
Okay.
And it's
And
prop for money too, right? So it's not the
well,
end of the
right.
world.
Yeah, but obviously the
Yeah.
commissions still count against your net profit. So
They do, you're right.
yeah. But
But
the
my mental health and stress and anxiety is more important to me
Oh,
than
I'm right there with you.
commissions. Yeah.
I trade NQ, but only the micros, the M and Q,
Nice.
and I only trade 1 to 3 contracts at a time. And a big part of that is I like to average into those positions. So,
Mhm.
do you go all in with 5 to 8 all at once, or do you tend to average into a position?
I average in,
Yeah.
definitely average in. I think I am still narrowing down my entries and exits. Have I perfected it? No. I like to add in, and especially, so I use, let's talk a little bit about my strategy, but I use, like, I'm a seller. I only short the market.
Okay.
And
You tend to
so
be on the short side.
yes. Oh, like I am. I don't, and it's not because I'm like digging my heels in about it. It's just that I read the market so much better for short. So I'm like, why
Interesting.
wouldn't I
Yeah.
just try to hone in on that instead of trying to spread myself too thin, trying to read both sides?
Hmm.
Um, might limit myself, but that's okay for now. But I use the New York VWAP for me as a indicator for like where my stop should be. So if it keeps falling short and I'm still in it, for example, and I can move my stop down, I'll add in, because then my stop, my SL, the price is the same, but potential for profit is more.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah,
That makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah,
And glad to hear you're using VWAP. I'm a huge fan of VWAP. I've been
yeah.
using that for a very long time. Session VWAP, New York VWAP, either way. Uh,
Okay,
but even the
cool.
electronic hours VWAP is very helpful, and anchored VWAPs over multiple days tends to be very helpful.
What
As well.
time do you do on the electronic? Sorry to talk over you. What time do you do on the electronic?
It's automatic, so it starts at 5 p.m. my time, Mountain Time, so 7 p.m. when the
Okay.
futures market opens at the start
So
of the
you have
electronic
do you use an
session.
indicator for that then? Because I just manually do it. I'm like,
It's
nice.
yeah, it's built in. It's the built-in
I
VWAP
thought so.
indicator when you're trading.
I honestly should just do that, but
Yeah.
I'm like, whatever. Just it takes me seconds
You
to
prefer
like
to
go in and do
market
it.
or
So I just do it.
sure?
Not working
Gotcha.
smarter over here.
There are some automatic indicators for the
Sorry, I
same
have
thing for
my
sure.
greens because I'm really happy.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm a big
There
fan
you
of
go.
a daily green drink. So, um, well, I'm kind of curious. How have you managed trading while being a mom through all of this? I know that was, really kind of part of your journey and story as well. Is that something we can
Oh yeah,
hear a little about?
I I can tell you about that. I would say I've gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
I've gotten a lot better with it. Yeah, and then this morning I kind of was unhinged a little bit because my son woke up like 45 minutes earlier than normal, and I literally had just entered a trade, and I hear like, "Mama," and I'm like, "No,"
No.
which I feel bad. Like he's like 3 years old, he's gonna wake up at some point, and I'm like, "No." Um, I've gotten a lot better, and honestly, like sizing down is what has made me better because I had a
Oh,
pivotal
so you'll take a
moment
little
where
profit along the way and then just leave a little on?
I do, like, but I mean, like, sizing down contract-wise, so it's,
Oh,
like,
I see what you mean. So
way
starting with
less of an
smaller
emotional.
contracts. Yeah,
Yeah,
getting down
yeah.
to MES essentially.
Yes, exactly, and, I'm still working on the trailing. I'm not sure how to navigate that totally because I often find that I leave more on the table than I get.
Mm,
But anyways, back to being a mom. I found that my trading, when I would take a loser, would negatively impact my patience, my like compassion, my empathy, but mainly my
mm,
patience and like my overstimulation with my kids. And I just thought, that I had a
mhm.
one kind of pivotal moment last September, and I lost, and I kinda, like, snapped, and like, my son was, like, kinda pulled on my pant leg or something, and my immediate reaction was like, "Oh, what? Like, what do you want?" And then I just remember thinking, "Oh, man, if this is gonna be a long career for me, this can't be it." So
Sure.
it's, I'm lucky that my kids sleep in late, because I'm also on the side, I'm an infant sleep consultant, so that's very helpful. Yes,
Oh,
like a
yeah.
yes,
That's good news, I'm
yes.
sure.
So for me, the market opens at 6:30 and they wake up at like 8:15. So I get a good like hour 45 minutes
Mhm.
to trade if I want. So I'm lucky with
Yeah.
that. But it's hard to navigate. It's really hard to navigate. I'm still trying to improve. Yeah.
As we all are, especially as parents. But I've got a little bit older kids, so it's a little easier for me now. But the question I would have around that is, do you find that it's kind of like a double edged sword, where even your home environment might affect the way you trade in the morning, but then vice versa, your trading environment might affect your home life at the end of the session?
Yes. Yes. I try. Yes. I try. Like it would be ideal if I could leave and go trade and then come back and like have a separation of the two. It's just not the situation. My husband works really crazy hours, and so usually it's like just me solo parenting in
Mm,
the morning, and also usually me solo parenting in the late afternoon, even evening sometimes. So it's just not feasible for me to be able to separate the two. Um, but yeah, I think that if I'm understanding your question correctly, I find that I'm thinking of one or the other no matter what I'm
yeah.
doing. It's
Yeah.
really hard to separate, and that's why sizing down was really helpful.
Sure. So a
Yeah,
little
like
risk
I
management.
yes.
Before
Mhm.
before we unpack a little bit of your performance and history there, I mean, obviously it's very impressive that you've been able to manage this. It's like, managing stress in general, your psychology and trading, it's an incredibly important part of a trader's journey. And you seem to have overcome that with an environment that can be very challenging. Do you have any tips for other stay-at-home mom traders out there, or other even stay-at-home dad traders out there that have an environment that can be a little distracting at times?
Yes, we love Bluey in our house,
Ah,
so Bluey always comes
for sure.
comes to the rescue. Yeah, so a couple, like, actual tangible tips is, um, I try to enter into a trade like, if it presents, I don't force trades, but I try and enter into a trade before my kids wake up. If I
Okay.
hear them stirring and I'm like, "Ooh, they're gonna wake up," I don't try and force and enter into a trade so that when I'm doing, like, the early morning routine, getting out the door, I'm thinking about my trade, checking on my laptop, things like that,
Mhm.
which I have done. Let's be honest, I have done
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Um,
On your phone, on the fly while you're driving.
Yes. But for me, it's like on my e-bike. I'm like, oh, we're stopping. Let me look.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Not my proudest moment.
Yeah, please don't trade while you're riding your bicycle.
I know. Don't, everyone who's listening, don't do that. Again, I think like I keep coming back to this like proper risk management, sizing down. You can set your stop loss that if you look at your stop loss and you're like, ooh, you should immediately close out half your size and take a tiny loss at the beginning, then be stressing when you're with your kids about
Mhm.
what you're like, if it's going to hit your stop loss. You're in your take profit shouldn't be so big that you're like, yeah, like I can't wait. Like, oh, if this wins this, I'm going to buy this or whatever. It shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be this huge adrenaline rush every time you enter into a trade.
Yeah.
So my advice is size down. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Yeah.
You set your like your stop loss, set your TP, and if it like let it play out. And that's what I tell the new people too who come into trading. I say like do one micro, set your
Mhm.
stop loss and set your take profit,
Call it a day.
let it
Walk
play
away.
out,
Right.
walk away. It's kind of the only option I really have
Mhm.
sometimes. I can't be doing both. So
Yeah, no
yeah.
question. I tend to trade the morning, and obviously, I'm busy running a company.
Yeah.
Being able to get into the entry before everybody starts showing up and slacking and pinging me, I get all of that, and just letting the position run throughout the day sometimes
Mhm.
is super helpful. At a fixed point, or do you find yourself letting winners ride all day throughout the session if it's a good running day?
No, I don't let them ride. And that's something
Okay.
that I don't know if that's right. I'm working on it. I am in why?
These new features of these Apple devices crack me
I
up.
don't
It
know.
happens all the
Someone, okay. I'm
time.
like,
We got the
no, I don't
thumbs
let
up and
profits run.
balloons.
No, I lose profits. Balloons. Yeah. Um, I am prop because I'm trading prop firms and
Mhm.
because right now, like well, I should say in general, prop firms in funded accounts, except
Mhm.
for one in particular right now, they have consistency rules. So
Yeah.
I usually try and get my max profit for the day, and
Right.
which isn't good for my mentality. I need to kind of shift that up. I've been in a rush the last week to like get a payout, and that does not work well. But I just am like, you know what? If I make $500 on this, I'm happy. Yeah,
Sure.
and it's especially in this market, like one, especially as a seller, Trump tweets one thing and I'm totally wiped out of my position. So I'm a bit quicker. Yeah, it's
But it can
happening
benefit you
sometimes.
too. I've seen some
It can
pullbacks
all the time.
from a Trump tweet that can be very beneficial.
It can,
Yeah,
yes. But I'm pretty quick to take profits these days.
that makes sense. So that
Mhm,
helps you stay consistent. At
mhm.
least in my mind, you've got one opportunity to take one big winner during a period of time, especially with eval accounts. You get like one opportunity to take a big winner, which will be your best trading day. And then you have to stay super consistent after that. Do you find that's true for a lot of your trading as well?
I mean, for evals,
Evals or funded accounts.
okay, so evals I trade much differently. Usually, except for one in
Really?
particular that
Okay.
yes, one in particular that I'm trading with, they really force you to slow down. Their
Mm,
goal is like we're not necessarily a prop firm, we're a trading desk. So
mhm.
I would say their best interest really is in the longevity of a trader and teaching you good habits. So that one has really forced me to slow down. I've been trading that one. Feel like, not I feel like it's been a month and I'm only halfway to my goal because I keep taking one step forward, one step back, one step forward, one step back, which is okay. Other evals, I just swing it. So
Okay.
it's like if I see my trade, I will enter like 10 micros. And then as it moves my direction, I'm like 10, 20, 30, 40. And then I just move my stop as it goes.
Mhm.
And I try to get them done in like a day or two. But I also have
If
experience doing that for like a year.
the rules allow for it. Obviously, you've
Most
done it.
evals do,
Yeah, yeah.
except for Top Step.
Right, right.
Yeah. Theirs is 2 days.
So you've obviously worked with several different maybe some of our listeners might not understand. Can you give us a sense of like your initial journey with an eval account and how many times you've had to go through the losing stages before you finally got past an eval?
I don't want to say. No, I'm just kidding. I'll be honest. I feel like transparency is
We've all been
important.
there. I can tell you that much. I've lost a lot
We
of
have.
evals.
We have. And like honestly, I think it's the best way to learn. Like
Yeah.
I've said, and I will answer your question, but I will say that I will die on the hill that like trading a demo or paper account
Mhm.
is useless. You don't have the mental game, and trading is all about the mental game. Like I see multiple different strategies out there that really are profitable.
Mhm.
It's the mental game. So I think prop firms are the best way to go in the learning stage, to be
Yeah,
honest with you.
because it puts real mental pressure on you.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And it gives you this idea of like what it could be, which is where kind of that mental
Mhm.
game comes in. So to answer your question, when I first started, I would be on an eval for like a month, 6 weeks, and you get rebilled every month. And so that was silly. And then I noticed that a lot of people were just trying to get them done as fast as they could. So of course, there's like a caveat of this is if you can afford more evals, can you afford like $50? Sure, it's $50, but it's still $50. Like that's, not everyone has that to be able to just kind of throw out there.
Mhm.
So obviously use your discretion there. But once I started kind of going heavier on my evals and getting them done in 3, 4 days, and then moving on to the funded accounts and keeping those for a long time, that changed the game for me, I would say. But I went through like probably 20.
Okay.
Mhm,
20.
mhm.
Okay. And did you have a particular prop firm you found more success with because of before you settled on a particular prop firm?
I definitely started with Top Step because they like being new, it was what everyone was talking about, even though they've
Mhm.
been around for I think it's like 12 years or something.
It's been a while. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while. I don't know if they started with futures. Like I'm not sure about like their history all the way back, but when I joined, it was the prop firm.
Mhm.
And so I only was with them. And then now TradeFi's come out, and the other one that I was talking about was called like the Futures Desk. And then I tried my hand at Apex, but intraday trading was really like the intraday drawdown was really hard for me to master. So that's kind of, I haven't gone back to that one. And then there's Top One Futures that just came out 2 weeks ago. And so those are the ones that I'm trading with now.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Mostly Top Step then? Did I hear that correctly?
Well, so Top
Or
Step
are they fairly well
doesn't.
distributed?
Well, I'd say they're fairly well distributed, but Top Step doesn't have instant funded accounts.
Mm.
And now, if you're strategic with what you kind of do, and I have proven myself that I can keep a funded account for a long period of time. Maybe not, I'm not taking payout after payout after payout after payout, but I'm exercising really good risk management.
Right.
Now I'm looking more so to get into instant funded. It depends. TradeFi has like an amazing 50K challenge account. It's called the growth account. You don't pay an activation fee. So it's like significantly cheaper than their instant funded. So if I know I can get that done in one day, then I'll do that. But if the instant funded price is like maybe $100 more than the challenge, I'm like, I'm just going to go to the instant funded.
Got it.
Yeah.
And so, how would you feel, or how would you describe your process for understanding risk management through all of this? Because I would say prop firm trading represents one of the more technical challenges for risk management because of how strict the rules are around consistency and daily drawdowns. What did that process look like for you, and what did you learn about risk management through all this?
It's a really good question. Back in September, so I started trading futures April. And then I had funded accounts and I just kind of like lost them like paper cuts over time. And then it was
Mhm.
August that I got a XFA, and I had four, and I was copy trading them. And I was trading minis still because it was still a very like ES would move like 40 points all day.
Let's follow. We're talking about April 2024,
Yeah, but now
right?
I'm in like
Yeah, sorry.
August of 2024. Yeah.
Okay, so we're still not
No,
post
no, no,
election
no.
yet.
So it's still like way less volatile. I'm
Yeah,
like
yeah,
minis, whatever, 2, 3 minis. I'm up like across now. I would be annihilated if I tried to do that.
sure,
But
right.
I across my four accounts, I was up 8 grand. I'm like whispering, like my husband's there. I'm like, don't listen to this part. And it was real money. And I had one more day left to get my payout.
Yeah.
And something happened in my family where in the home where it
Mhm.
distracted me,
Mm.
and I was being asked questions, and I'm like, I'm trading, like, but I just kept being asked these questions, and I got distracted, and it just pinned up against me. It wiped me out of the position, and I tilted. It was the first time I've ever experienced tilt,
Yeah.
because I had this real money, and I tilted, and I lost my accounts.
So you hit
Um,
the maximum loss then on all of them? Wow.
yes, in
Bummer.
one day.
Yeah.
Ask yourself this. Are you making trading harder than it needs to be? If you're trading manually or still coding just to connect to your broker, yeah, it's time to upgrade. TradersPost lets you automate trades using signals from tools like TradingView or TrendSpider or even your own custom setup. It works with brokers like TradeStation, Tradeovate, Coinbase, and a bunch more. I've been using it myself, and getting started was smooth. The platform's clean, setup's quick, and once it's running, it just works. And when you're ready to scale, more strategies, prop firms, or sharing signals with your community, TradersPost handles it. It's built to grow with you. Start your free trial at TradersPost.io. Trade smarter, automate your edge.
And I think that every trader has experienced that. And I almost feel like every trader, not maybe in one day, but I feel like every trader has had their profits that they've lost. And I feel like every trader needs to experience that to be able to dial it back and be like,
just hopefully not a lot of real money. Unfortunately, my early days were a lot of real money.
yeah, hopefully not real money. Yeah, I see some people who they're up like 25, 30K and they're like, oh, I lost it in a day. I'm like, oh, how?
Yeah.
But it happens.
Yeah.
Like, I shouldn't even ask how. I know how. So then anyways, I was like, I need to scale back. So I did a bit of like coaching, had like a bit of coaching, and I learned how to exercise proper risk management. I scaled way down, and then I kept XFAs for like 4 months. I got like 10-ish grand worth of payouts from September to December. No. So yeah, September to like January of this year.
Okay.
And then I was like, okay, I'm going to try my hand at scaling up.
And
But it's emotional. It's emotional. It's really hard.
Yeah. There's no question.
No.
What did it feel like when you got your first payout? You saw the deposit come in and you realized all the efforts have now paid off.
I was like, I've made it. And I think that's also the problem is like you get your first payout and you're like,
yeah,
I could do it. And then the market's like, no, you can't.
Genius. Market genius now. Yeah.
And the market's like, let me humble you. What did I do with it? I probably like paid off my credit card bill with my challenges on it, but I was very excited.
Helped cover your eval fees.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It makes it real.
Yeah.
Like that money in your bank account, like a salary, it makes it real. And then as people say, you get your first payout, then it gets easier from there. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but at least it's like motivates you. Yeah.
Sure.
But
do you how do you feel about the process now as you're starting to scale up more? Do you have any frameworks or rules that you're trying to follow to help manage the risk in a continued way, but sort of like treat this more like a serious business?
Oh, that's a really, really good question. I like to give myself 6 losing days in a row at the max loss to lose my account. So,
and since your size is so small, you're not triggering those daily.
Okay, well, today I did, but
oh no,
today I did. I haven't done that in a while, but yes, it's kind of a rule I have for myself. I'm like, if I hit because I set my own daily loss limit.
Yeah.
I set my take profits based on the consistency rules, like my profit max, and I'm like, if I'm giving myself 6 daily full losses to lose this account. What I have done in the past is once I get to like day 3 and I've had 3 full losses, then I'll half my size. So now I've given myself another 6 days. So in total, it's 9 days. And I think like the hard part is you've got to let go of the idea of that payout by a certain date.
Yeah.
And you just got to trade with proper size. Because if you think about it, most people get paid bi-weekly if you're on a salary. So why am I expecting 15K, for example, every 5 days? It's crazy. It's crazy. Like I'd be happy if I got that in 2 months, right? So why am I just aiming just for the payout? It should be about the process. So I definitely will. I said 6, but actually I would say I allow myself 3 and then I have my size and then I allow myself another 6.
That's smart. Yeah. Yeah. Keep bringing that down. So essentially you go from like 5 to 8 of the micros down to like 4 to 5 and then even smaller than that at some point.
Yeah. What I will do is I'll enter in at like 2 micros. And then if it moves in my direction, I'll add 1 or 2 and then move my stop to break even right away. But then I feel like that kind of gets you in that mentality of like afraid of losing. And so if I I almost feel like if your account is so close to being blown, it's almost just, again, depends on your financial situation. It's almost better to just blow it and start over, because if you're trading in fear, you're going to get bad habits, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard a few traders out there that actually use their daily loss limit as their stop loss, which I find hilarious. Like they just wait for the daily loss to trigger. I don't think that's as smart of a play. I think it's better to have that consistency in place, but I can see why they do that.
Yes. I mean, that happened to me today, but that's definitely not what I do.
On purpose.
No, it was just not a good day for me today. But yeah, that's, again, I think that's, I mean, I think those people, I mean, I've seen that out in the on Twitter, someone who did that, and they have huge wins too. So they're probably like, I have huge wins, and so I, let it run. But
and in some cases you can catch that reversal in just the right way. So as long as they don't trigger that daily loss limit, then they have a chance of
I know, that's crazy. I don't trade reversals. I think it's so stressful.
And some. So
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can be very stressful. Yeah. Maybe circling back a little bit to your setup, I know you trade around VWAP and you're usually a net short seller for most of your trading days or all of your trading days. Is there any other confluence you're looking for before you'll take a short? Like what's the trade setup that you're interested in?
I have 3 setups.
Okay.
I say that so confidently. I have 3 setups, but I will say there's another one that I'm kind of thinking about adding in, just because in this particular market, you need to be able to adapt. It's not a normal market. So there's that. So I use VWAPs. I use the 15-minute opening range, high and low. And I use the initial balance high and low as not as an entry and exit signal, but there's this application called Edgeful. And so I use Edgeful, which gives me all the statistics of, how do I say, like likelihoods, I guess you can say. So it tells me once the initial balance high. So for people who don't know what that is, it's the first hour of the New York open, high and low. And it says once the one side is broken, you can look it up by day, by size, whatever it is. It's extremely unlikely that the other side's going to be broken. So that will help me be like, okay, so the trend of today is probably going to be bullish. If I'm looking for a bear move, I'm not going to put my take profit below the initial balance, because it's unlikely that it's going to get there. So that helps me that way as well. But normally what I look for is a breakout of the low, a pullback to the opening range, a low, rejection of the opening range low with a break of the low of day VWAP.
Sure.
Yeah. So it's not a lot of things.
Breaking out of that opening range, but you wait for confirmation on the other side.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. That makes sense. I like that.
Yes. Can you tell me, can that be automated? So I don't have to sit at my desk all day.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Tell me. Yes.
Absolutely. Okay. ORB strategies that work pretty well there. And one of them actually does look for the same type of confirmation. I want to see bars fall back into the opening range and then close below that opening range on the low side before it'll take a short. But it's got to be a full close before it'll take that short.
Yes, and that's also me manually. Like it has to be a full close, and for even more confirmation, it has to break below the low of day VWAP as well.
I like it. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Good. I know earlier you mentioned you followed Austin really early. You got some coaching around trading. Did you have any other resources that have helped you in your trading journey? Books, YouTube? I mean, a lot of us are all on the University of YouTube. So maybe there's something else you followed?
It's funny. I'm not really like a huge YouTube kind of person, but now I have my own channel. So I'm trying to be more of like a YouTube person. But I feel like at the beginning of your journey, getting yourself on YouTube can be a recipe for disaster, because there's so much out there.
Many is conflicting in some cases.
And a lot of it is conflicting. Yeah. Right. So I read The Best Loser Wins. That was really, really helpful for me in nailing I haven't nailed it, but like growing in my risk management. And The Best Loser Wins, I use, for example, a resource, I use Edgeful, I use TradeZella to journal. And my hand is like glowing. Do you see that? Look at that.
Interesting.
Do you see that? Yes, very cool. Sorry.
It's the moment you
ADD
risk management process. You got really glowy.
I'm glowing. TradeZella has really, really helped me like accumulate all my trades in one space. And that's actually what helped me realize that I need to lean into my shorts. When I filtered by longs and shorts, my shorts
Gotcha.
were exponentially more profitable than my longs. And I'm like, what am I doing here?
Hmm.
So that was really
Well,
helpful. Um, yeah, that's it. Not a whole lot. I'm gonna be honest, I don't have
yeah,
a ton of time. I don't have a ton of time.
sure.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Still raising
Yes,
family. And you've also you said you've been at this since April of last year, so you're relatively new in terms of the overall
I
trajectory.
am. And I have to remind myself of that. Yes.
Yeah, plenty of
Lots of
time. You
time.
mentioned earlier this is a marathon, and it
It
very
is,
much
yes.
is. So what does the future look like? What are you hoping happens over the next couple of years?
Um, that's a really good question. I want this to be it doesn't I actually if you asked me, excuse me, 6 months ago, I would have said I want trading to be the thing that I do. And while
Wow.
that's true, and because I love it, I'm like obsessed with it, I think that that's
Hmm.
not a healthy mindset because it's very unpredictable. Even the best of traders have months of drawdown. So if it's your only kind of source of income, that can be very stressful. So that's another thing you asked me like many questions ago of what I would give advice I would give to a stay-at-home parent or
Yeah.
any beginner traders.
Yeah.
Don't quit your job.
For sure.
Like
Yeah.
get another source of income. So it's not that you are dependent on the trading. It's a recipe for disaster. You trade out of fear, and that's not a good place to be in. So I want trading to be my focus. I have started kind of helping like other moms at
Yeah.
home, which is
Okay.
really nice. I
Yeah.
don't know if that will flourish into
Army of
anything, but I really
stay-at-home
like
mom
that. Yeah,
traders. I love
we're
it.
coming for all of you. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, we can multitask like no other.
Oh, I
And I
bet.
think that we have like our why is so strong and we're, I don't know, pretty like people say that women are better traders mentally. I don't know if that's true, but because our ego is not necessarily in the way as much as it is for men. I can tell you I have an ego though, so I don't know if that's necessarily
I
true,
wouldn't
but
argue it. There was a TV series, early 2000s. I can't remember the name of the series, but they were testing a bunch of off the street people who were interested in trading. And one of the people who won was a female trader, and she did incredibly well. She managed her emotions well. She managed her positions well. I wouldn't have a hard time arguing against the skill of stay at home moms as well.
yes, we can do a lot of things at one time and we can do them pretty well
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good question. Let's see where this takes me. I think that my future is in the trading world
Hmm.
for sure. Yeah.
Glad to have you.
There's nothing else for me. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, what can people do to learn more about you or follow you? You said you started a YouTube channel. Where
Uh,
else do you have content you're now creating?
yes, so I have a YouTube channel. It's called Rebecca Trades, and then I'm
Okay.
also on X, Rebecca Trades, and then I'm on Instagram, Rebecca Trades. But it's Rebecca with an extra A, and then
An
Trades,
extra A. So
an
Rebecca
extra
A
A.
trades, if you will.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
And we'll put that in
Yes.
the show notes as well, of course.
Thank you.
Any other resources you should or you have as a recommendation that people should look at?
So there's also Bookmap,
Oh yeah,
which I don't
Bookmap's
know.
great.
Yeah, Bookmap is great.
Yeah.
It's I'll
I
be
don't
totally
hear that come
honest.
up as often as I expect, actually. Bookmap
Oh,
is
really?
incredible for managing or seeing the order book, for sure.
It is. It is. It's like I feel like I need a more powerful computer to
I know.
like run it. I'm
It's a
like
ton of
just
data.
so yeah, I'm just really amateur like with my laptop and I just got a monitor. I was doing it all on like one little screen. So that's really hard to do, but I think like Bookmap
Which
really
is a
helps you.
testament that you
No,
sorry, I
you
was just
don't.
yeah, you don't
And
need
it's
full
funny,
screens in order to trade.
no, and it's funny, like there was this like X thread and it was like, what show us your setup? And it was like mine on top of like 2 cans of formula. Like, this is it.
That's all it
In the
takes.
kitchen, like that's all it takes.
Right.
But Bookmap is really good. It helps you also see like block orders from algorithms
Mhm.
and to be able to identify like maybe is this like an individual holding a lot of orders? Like I said, algorithms with their stops and their losses and their stops or whatever. Sorry, their stops and their take profits and where the orders are coming in. Usually price is drawn to like a big block of orders. It helps me determine where my stop loss is going to be. So that is very helpful as well. I mean, if you're trying to be a lean kind of business and you're just starting off, it is a bit pricey. We can write it off.
Yeah, if you do it right, all through an LLC, everything's kind of
Yes,
right off here.
exactly.
So even I think if
Exactly.
we structure it right, even the eval fees and funded account fees should be a write off as well.
Yes, I have to talk to my accountant.
Yeah,
We'll see what we can
perfect.
do.
Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Thank you very much for taking the time here. It was really cool hearing about your journey and
Thank you.
hearing from another prop firm trader. We've been interviewing a few lately, and it's just fascinating to see how this world is creating such a new opportunity for people all over the place. So yeah, I think your story is fantastic and impressive, and congrats on all the success.
Thank you. Thank you. I was, you guys asked me to be on this podcast and I was so honored. I was like, this is crazy. I just kind of just started to be more vocal about my journey because it's scary, like putting it out there on the internet. And I just started that in November. And so I was really honored. And, I like checked you guys out and also like what you guys do too. And I'm like, well, might just bring that. I might go back to Apex and bring in like a algo that can actually read my strategy and let's see what it can do. So that's exciting too. I mean, to scale up is really, if you don't have the capital, the huge like capital to back you, diversifying yourself into multiple accounts, I think really is the way forward, but it's hard to manage those all at once. So if there's something that could do it for me, I'm not opposed.
That's what we're seeing on the platform. I'm doing it myself. I have some discretionary trading I do from TradingView, but then it links to TradersPost and trades all my prop firm accounts at the same time. But then you can also take the systematic approach too. So if you have an automated strategy and you want to link that to all the prop firm accounts at the same time, you can do that on our platform as well. So semi-automated.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, and I say that because I don't know, like how into the, sorry, I'm going to keep talking about this for just 1 second, how into the like social kind of world you are with trading, but there are a couple trade copiers out there, I will say, but none of them are without their flaws, and the flaws are quite detrimental. And that has been what's kept me out of scaling up that big. I don't want to be clicking like a mad person. I already do it between two and I don't want to do it between more. So if there's an option that I can do that with, that's pretty sweet.
We should talk. And
we should talk. Let's talk.
You said you had a strategy earlier that maybe could be automated. We've had a few guests on the show that are interested in putting something together. We'd be happy to write something for you as well and see if there's any real edge there from an automation perspective.
That's really cool. As a stay-at-home mom, that would literally save the little bit of sanity I have left.
There you go.
Well, thanks for having me. That's really cool. Cool. I'm excited to chat after.
Sounds good. Well, we'll catch up on that and early in the journey of all of this. But that's what makes this much more fascinating to me is if we can check in over the next couple of years and see how your journey progresses, we can look back at this and go, how much have we learned since then? And how much more have you succeeded since then? So I'm excited to see how this all progresses for you.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. It's going to be 2 years from now. Let's see what happens. It's going to be great.
I love it.
Let's go.
Well, great.
Thanks
again for coming.
Mike.
So let me show you the power of how we can turn an alert or indicator or strategy into something that's fully automated into multiple prop firm accounts. So let me share my screen here. And
I'm so excited. Oh my gosh.
I'm so glad. I'm going to jump from screen to screen here so it'll start to make sense. This is, I do have a strategy on this screen, which went long this morning after we closed above VWAP at the start of the session. And this strategy was specifically built for prop firm accounts as well. So I already know where my profit target needs to be. It's keeping track of my equity. It knows where my daily drawdown is, and so on and so forth. And all it's doing is just trading 2 micros on M&Q. We went long at roughly 20,131, and an alert was actually sent at that point, and it sent a signal to TradersPost, and it traded both of my Top Step account and my Apex account here. And so you can see I have 4 contracts open. I had added to this position, by the way, which is why it says 2 on TradingView, but 4 here. And I have 4 open on Apex as well. And P&L for the day on both, I think I had 482 earlier this morning when I shorted the open, and then I'm up 957 on this trade that's open right now.
Wow.
So great session so far. And what I have is another indicator that I sort of attached to this, which is just a trailing stop indicator based on ATR. And I'm just kind of waiting to see how the rest of the session goes. I'll probably just let this trigger on its own. But a stop indicator has a JSON message inside of it, which tells TradersPost what to do when a certain event takes place. So when this trailing stop hits, it's going to send an alert to TradersPost to say, for the ticker MNQM 2025, exit the position, no matter how big it is, no matter how many contracts I'm in. And then in the webhook URL tab, I send this to a webhook URL on TradersPost. And that webhook URL is connected to all the brokerage accounts that I tell it to be connected to. So in this strategy here, if I edit my settings, rather, it's better to see the subscriptions. You can see here that for this particular strategy, I have connected these 2 accounts, my Apex account and my TopStep account. And so when signals come through this webhook URL that's provided to me, it trades these both at the same exact time. So you can see here, looking at this trading strategy this morning, if we go to the market open, I had an open on, sorry, that was yesterday. That was 5-2. So this morning I had shorted M&Q 2 contracts, and I added to that position, and then I exited that position by 737, and I picked up about $400 on 4 contracts in the first few minutes of the open. And then by 8:10, I saw that we were closing above VWAP, and so the automated strategy kicked in, bought 2 contracts, and then I added 2 more contracts by 9:30 here. So now we're in that trade at the moment, 4 contracts total on 2 accounts. So when these signals get sent through to TradersPost, you can see, like, here's the first one that got sent through. Here's the payload that was sent by the system to enter these trades. So an entry was triggered from TradingView, sent over it traded both these accounts at the same. But you could add, in theory, as many as you like here, up to there's obviously an upper bound somewhere, like let's call it 500 accounts, which is crazy, but you could trade as many accounts as you can connect to our system up to the limits of your account.
That's wild. So that exit that you have there, that'll be triggered. Are you manually then adjusting that? Because it, like, as it goes?
No, this one's automatic. This is an indicator on TradingView called the trailing stop alerts. And it's basically using an ATR based trailing stop. So you can see it looks back at the last 14 bars for average true range with a multiplier of 1. And it knows I'm in a long position. So at the close of every bar, this red line now represents where my trailing stop is. And so if the price touches that line, it'll send this alert out to egg onto this probably till the end of the session.
This is crazy. Wow. So I have to ask.
Sure.
Because I see a lot on X that people are like, is there a trade copier, a reliable trade copier? Is it
Right.
like, how come you guys aren't all up in there being like, us?
I mean, we
beta?
are. It's not beta.
Wow.
We've been around for
Wow.
4.5 years now.
So it's just me. I'm live under a rock.
No, I think it's
Okay.
it's a noise problem, like how it's hard for brands sometimes to get out there and really get their name out there. But we're trying that here with each of these content pieces we do and each of these conversations we have, and making sure people know that this is what we provide. The truth is, we didn't really know how big prop firm trading was until, what was it, August of last year. And we started to notice there was this growth of people that were using our system to trade multiple prop firms at the same. Well, okay, first off, why is this so popular? I didn't even understand that real money was being made on simulated accounts. That was a mind blow for me. I had no idea that
Most people, they're like
how is this even a thing?
Yeah.
How is this not illegal, right?
Yeah.
But we investigated the industry, and we learned a lot more about what's happening there, which players were, somewhat fraudulent, which players are actually doing things legitimately. There's definitely some shady prop firms out there, some other prop firms that have had some insolvency issues, things like that. We get all of that there. We understand why that would exist in the industry as well. But we want to play an active role in helping traders get the most out of their process, their journey, their risk management techniques. We offer a lot of tools on TradersPost to help people manage their positions automatically, exit at the end of the day through an indicator. Like there's
Wow.
all kinds of ways in which you can create rules for how to trade and of course trade them all at the same time. So we didn't really start as a trade copier. We just happened to have this feature that allows you to trade things in multiple accounts at the same time.
Great. Across different platforms.
Across different platforms, different venues, different asset classes. We trade stocks, options, futures, and crypto on here. So
No way.
like I said, we are a very versatile platform. It just happens to work really well for prop firm trading as well.
Not me going to go load up on 20 Apex evals.
Honestly, give it a try. Let me know what you think of it.
I'm going to. This is incredible. The
Yeah.
light is should I make myself glow?
Another glowy. Now you got your face glowing and your hands.
I'm in a glass box. That's why. I had a question and I can't remember what it was, but do you because I would say that I'm pretty novice on really using TradingView to its potential, and using kind of alerts and setups. Like, do you have, if I were to get started and I'm like, I have these 20 accounts, let's see what we can do. Do you have someone who can hold my hand and help me set it up?
Yeah, sure. Just ping us on support@traderspost.io, and either me or Tom or Peter or Trevor. We got a lot of people on the team that can help you out.
Awesome. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Woo.
I'm so glad. Just honestly,
slap that credit card down. Let's get some more emails going.
I'd love your feedback though. I think, what helps me out is just understanding if this is working well for you as we get more tools created to help on the prop firm side of things. Managing them all at the same time is one thing, but managing your trade entries and exits through our system is the next. And I figured out a system that's working well for me, and I still trade manually in some cases and then automated in a couple other strategies. This one that but then I saw a signal come in for the long on the automated strategy. So I was like, let me get out of your way. Oh shoot, this signal's really strong. So let me add 2 contracts to it. So I'm kind of mixing and matching here a little bit, which is possible to do, but I'm curious what your experience is going to be like. And so your feedback will help us and me understand how we can make our tool better over time as well.
Awesome. Cool. I'm so excited. Great. Thank you.
You bet. Awesome.
All right. I'm let's get out of here so I can go do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it. Awesome. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, I'm just let's just go. Thank you. Yeah, go have fun.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. We'll chat soon.
Okay. Bye.
Cheers.